Hey everyone, me Kevin here. So I was just doing due diligence on, one of my favorite wedge deals of a stock, Restoration Hardware. It's been crushed because of the tariffs. Tariffs paused on appeals. Trump wins again. I don't know how he does it. That's bad. Look, I'm super anti-tariff, okay? Like, if we can get to no tariffs, I think we could stick a soft landing and we could finally be bullish. I get it. I get there being a stay in the meantime, but it should be a stay and no tariffs. But maybe that's just my bias because I don't want tariffs. In fairness, if they go for a stay and say no, as in no stay, and they're like, no, we'll process your appeal, but no tariff in the meantime, in fairness to Trump, it kills all of his negotiation leverage with all of the other countries. So, as much as I dislike it, personally, from a factual point of view, it's probably the right thing to do from the court. It's not what I expected. I did not think within 24 hours they would U-turn to, the tariffs are back on, boys and girls. We had no tariffs for 24 hours, and the tariffs are back. It's remarkable because, see, my point of view is that if we can get a no tariff situation again, we could actually enjoy the fruits of that Trump enthusiasm when he was elected, that economic enthusiasm. And then guess what? Well, we would be in a place where we would start seeing that disinflation. These members' prices over here at Restoration Hardware, they've fallen like a rock. We've seen it in the earnings calls too. I haven't bought them yet. I haven't pulled the trigger on them, but I'm telling you, I go into the stores all the time and I do the DD. And at least the UTC San Diego, La Jolla, shout out to the La Jollas. I know it's not La Jolla, okay. We were just looking at a house hack building. We had a fire inspection out here because we have, over 25 units out here with in the apartment buildings. We had fire sprinkler inspection. And so then I come do DD while I'm already out here. You get a free rental car. That's kind of cool. The Signature Aviation pays for it. They give you a free rental car if you're only going to be a few hours. But they charge you like an $800 landing fee, which I pay for, just fine. But my point is, I get the flying practice. No, my point is, at least based on the due diligence, talking to people here, they've seen no change in sales over the last year, which is so far consistent with their sales. Now, they've had to be a little bit more aggressive on pricing. That's probably how they're keeping the sales stable. That is what we want, though. We want an economy that's growing, that's more competitive, and an economy that is more competitive, creating disinflation. See, remember, the beautiful thing about global competition without tariffs, I know there's so much talk about, the Chinese are flooding our markets or whatever. But the beautiful thing about competition is the reason Chinese flood our markets is because we demand their products. We demand their solar panels, their solar inverters, and whatever. So then it's like we demand it because it's cheaper, and the quality has actually gone up to where the cheaper panels are actually better quality than sometimes the panels that you could go buy in Germany, which is crazy to think about. It's the opposite of what we grew up learning, right? Because we grew up learning as children, the Chinese stuff is, cheap crap for toys, but their manufacturing has gotten so good. So we buy more of it, and it looks like they're dumping on us. But really what they're doing is providing better quality products at lower prices, which, guess what, gives you more money to spend on other things. That's disinflation. When you can buy the equivalent of a RAV4 for $15,000 in China, and you're paying $70,000 for, the fully loaded version of RAV4 out here, they call it $20,000 USD fully loaded over there in China. That $50,000 delta, you could do a lot with that. You could go on a lot of vacations. You could go on a lot of dinners. You could invest in companies. You could start businesses. You could invest in a house hack. If all of you, instead of spending $70,000 on a car or whatever you're spending on a car, $30,000 or whatever, you spend half as much on a car, you could put more money into house hack. And then we could provide more homes for people and then create disinflation in housing rents by developing more homes, and everybody wins. The tenants win, we win, you win, right? Reminder to go to househack.com to invest. So if we can have that disinflation and courts actually rule against Trump, which I actually believe that they will, I believe this appeals court will shut Trump down, the Fed will be in a position where they will be able to cut rates because of the disinflation that we're seeing, which is really exciting. In fact, remember what the Fed paper said I just sit at home and I read generally all the time when I'm not working house hack or due diligence. Trust me, I'm not buying at Restoration Hardware. Buy the stock, not the product. Maybe not yet, though. It's still in the downtrend. I haven't touched it yet, but I'm tempted. But anyway, remember that a disinflation will unlock Powell. And what did Powell tell us already? Powell told us music over there. I'm going to get copyright strike. Come on, man. I got construction over here. What is this? Look at all that fire retardant that they're spraying on their metal poles or whatever. I got to stay in the middle over here. So Powell told us that if it weren't for tariffs, we would have probably already had negative inflation, as in more disinflation than we've been expecting. The GDP data this morning that came in at 0.2 versus the 0.3 on the negative side, fine. The retail spending number hurt though. The spending number didn't come in great this morning, the personal consumption. It wasn't retail sales, right? It's personal consumption numbers, which makes sense, but it's also still Q1. Q2 data could be really bad. A lot of businesses are gonna have bad earnings in Q2 because of, in heavy part because of all the tariff uncertainty, the April drama, the stock market shock or whatever. So even though I'm turning more bullish because I think these tariffs are going to die, I do recognize there's the potential that Donald Trump is going to say, well, everything is just sectoral. All right, we're going to tariff toys and TVs and computers and blah, 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 right? But just basically go down the list and tariff every individual item versus blanket tariffs via the 1971 Economic Powers Act, Emergency Economic Powers Act, blah, 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 which was overruled this morning, or overthrown this morning by the trade court, which is a proper check and balance, right? Now it's in appeals and states, so it's paused. So in other words, tariffs are back on right now, right? I know there are some comments, people are like, oh, why do courts get to decide our trade policy? They don't, okay? They don't. They decide the proper checks and balances between the president and the legislature. That's the point. It's the triangle of checks and balances. And they're saying, no, the president does not have the authority to tariff with blanket tariffs. That is the responsibility of Congress. Why don't you put it in your big, beautiful bill? Oh, you can't because it's a budget reconciliation bill. Okay, why don't you put it in a separate bill? Oh, you can't because you don't have enough Democrats who are going to vote for it. Duh. Oh, well, then I guess you can't do it. Duh. That's the point. The point of government is not to change rapidly like this and create this uncertainty because, somebody's got to buy all that damn debt we have, right? It's part of the game, the founding fathers set it up this way almost. It's incredible, the foresight and the way our system works. And it's one of the reasons why the United States has been able to become the largest economy in the world and the greatest country in the world. Look, I'm train America, but there will be opportunities to buy dips. But let me put it this way. If courts are going in the direction of killing these tariffs, it is the best possible outcome and the most bullish possible outcome. So let me just put it this way. Stayed for now, tariffs back on. Damn it, more bad data for now. That was quick. But I think it's a sign of what's to come, that these tariffs are going away. And remember, I said the most bullish scenario is tariffs go away, no recession. We're able to, accelerate out. Worst case scenario, the tariffs go away in 2029 under a new administration. That's my take. So remember, go to househack.com to invest, open to non-accredited investors. And we had a coupon code glitch last time on the Alpha Report. So if you want to be part of that, lock in your price. When the price goes up, you will lock in that lower price forever. So go to mekevin.com, join me with the trade alerts, see what I'm doing, see what I'm looking at, see what I'm buying, see what due diligence I'm doing or whatever. My fundamental analysis, get it all over at mekevin.com. See y'all in the next one. Goodbye. Love you.